The number one skill that you're going to have at leveling up your game as a high-ticket remote closer is getting good at call reviewing. Whether you're a sales manager reviewing your team's calls or you're reviewing your own calls, it's the fastest way to become really good at closing and to really dial in your close rate. Now, most people do call reviews wrong. They do a call review, they point out a bunch of things wrong, and then maybe they get a little bit better and better and better over time. I'm going to give you a very simple process that allows you to focus on 9 or 10 things and improve one of those things, 2 of those things, every single call, and quickly, literally every call review you do, you will become a better and better closer until all of those 9 or 10 master components that you have to close the deal are completely locked down solid on your calls. This process works incredibly well if you're a sales manager and you have a whole team of remote closers and you need a systemized process to do this with your team, because I'm going to give you the doc, the process is the calculator, so that you can call review with your team as well. Just a quick reminder, this video is just one video of an entire course that we're giving out for free. Literally the entire course that our clients used to pay us well over $10,000 to have access to, we're giving you for free. Scripts, templates, everything. And we use these processes to close over 40% month over month over month on 1 and 2 call closes from cold outreach traffic, meaning these people don't know, like, or trust us yet. And in 1 or 2 calls, we're converting at $10, $20, $50,000 type programs. So let's get into it. What is happening? Hey, want to walk you through how do you see call review calculator. Don't get overwhelmed here. It's pretty straightforward. There's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things up top, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things on the bottom to grade. If you actually look, these 2 things at the top and these 2 things at the bottom are the same. So really, I mean, there's not a lot of things to grade. So don't get overwhelmed. When I'm listening to a discovery, I'm like, are they being a leader? Are they active listening and personalizing the conversation? Pretty straightforward, right? And as long as they're doing those things, I just want to make sure they're doing problem, probe, label, getting the goal and cost, and avoiding landmines. Same with the pitch. As long as they're being a leader, active listening and bridging, I just want to make sure they're getting agreement during the pitch. They're doing the closing, the double tie downs before price, and then after price, they're double tying down and handling the real objection. It's pretty straightforward stuff. I'm going to walk you through how this doc works, and you're going to see each section has, if you want to know how to grade or rate it, leadership here. It's like, hey, if I'm listening to a call and I want to learn how to grade it, you're going to see 0 means process not done at all, right? Okay, cool. So you could say 0 means process not done at all. 1 means process was done partially. 2 means process was done, but the goal wasn't achieved. And then 5 means process done, goal achieved. So like, let's kind of look here. If I'm looking at leadership, which is tonality and responding versus reacting, like, did they have downward tonality? Like, you hear my tonality, and you can go to the trading on this. Do they have downward tonality? Were they certain? Were they confident? Or were they always like, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? Oh, awesome. Did it sound like everything they were saying was a question because they're upward tonality, right? And then were they responding versus reacting? Like, were they being a boss? Were they being a leader, right? Were they calm, confident, certain in their answers? Or were they just being like quickly reacting and answering the prospect's comments and questions? And was the closer's emotion going up and down in the direction depending on the prospect, right? So pretty straightforward. Like, did they have leadership with tonality and with like responding versus reacting? And then, you can see how to rate it here. So as long as they did that 90% of the time, they're good. But if like less than 90% of the time, it's 2. If like half the time they're being a leader, half the time they weren't. And if they weren't being a leader at all, like, so that's how we would rate it. So like, let's just say they were like doing it, but like less than 50% of the time. So I'd rate them at 2. You'd see over here, the coach would rate them at 2. But like, they can also self-diagnose as well. And so let's say active listening and bridging. I can come here and look at the notes here as well for that. Problem, probe, label. I can look at the notes here, how to review. And at first you're going to be like, it's going to take a while, but as you get better and better, it's actually really quick. So let's go through the actual document. Here, we're going to walk through this doc on how to grade each section of the call. So we're going to walk through, this will be a training on how to grade the sections, but then you'll be able to quickly reference it later on. So click here to make a copy. So this will give you a version where you can make a copy for yourself. So you don't need ours. Don't ask for editing ours. Just go here and make your own copy. copy, look, boom, copy of, you can, now it's yours, you own it. What this is going to do, no, you can do an in-depth call review and use these principle lessons to do like high level, or we call them speed call reviews. Okay, the better and better you get at calls, the faster you're going to be able to call review. At first, it's going to take you a while. After a while, you're going to be able to just like listen to the first 10 minutes and last 10 minutes of a call and know why it didn't close and be able to give good coaching. But at first, it's going to take a while because you got to be able to pick up on the nuances. The main goal of the call review is to figure out what the closer is doing great so you can reinforce that. Ideally, you have mostly positive reinforcements. Number 2 is to focus on the 1 and 2 highest leverage areas that if they fix, their performance will go up. They'll close more deals. Now, to be clear, you want to grade each section as it should be graded. Like, I'm not going to just, well, you did pretty good, so I'm just going to give you a 2 and a 5 on everything. Like, no, like if the process was only partially done on a section, I'm only going to give it freaking 1, right? Like if they only did partial on everything, I'm only going to give it 1 on everything. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to like give them a fake rating, but what I would do, let's make a copy of this. Like, let's just do. What I would do is say they're 1 on everything, right? Say they're a 1 on everything. We're just doing everything partial, except like, let's just say, man, they did a really good job at problem probe label. They got a 2 here. They really got the client. They really got a good job on the problem probe label. Although most of the common temptation is going to be, let me put these all in. The common temptation is going to be to just like destroy them. Like, you loser, you did all these things wrong. And I'm going to be like, what I want to do is put the focus here. Like, hey, I just want to say awesome job on getting that problem probe label. It's the most important section of the call. So really good. You know, I can see like you're doing everything partial. So it sounds like you're kind of getting the pieces in place. And then the feedback I would have for them at this point is be like, all you got to do is really make sure you have that, practice your script so you can start getting like 2s and 5s on everything. Because if you just like, you're already doing the partial and everything, if you just practice the script and have the script pulled up, we start getting you 2 and 5s on this, we're going to easily get your score up and get you closing more deals. So like literally, man, if you just focus on having that script up, practice the script beforehand so you're comfortable with it, but have that script up, go over the training with the script by the camera so you can literally just have the script up while you're on a call with a prospect. Wow, it'll make such a big difference because you already did such a good job here, which is one of the most important parts of the call. Awesome, cool. Well, see you soon. See you in the next call, right? So the focus is going to be more that versus like just being like making them feel like losers. Okay. And you can see there's a lot of areas that need to be focused on, but I just focused on one thing. I was like, hey, have the script up because you're clearly having trouble following the process. Practice the script and have the script up. If they practice the script and have the script up, they're going to start getting 2s and 5s on all of this, right? Very cool. So that's a very, very easy thing to do. And then over time, you're going to have like just what are the 1 or 2 things that if they do is going to make them do like way better on the next call. Okay. To be clear, you want to have a boom, boom, boom. Then for your sales leader, your goal is to figure out 1 or 2 things. I just said that, for instance, I just give you an example on this. So what's the one thing? Always be asking, what's the one thing if they switch, the 1 or 2 things that if they changed that they will get, they'll get a better score and everything and ultimately just close more deals. All right. So let's walk through each section so you can understand each section here shortly. Actually, let's run through the type of call reviews. You have in-depth, 2 words. Listen to the call. What you're going to do is you're going to listen to the call at 2 times speed, and an in-depth review is where you listen to the entire call from beginning to end. And you're literally going to grade this every single section beginning to end, right? That's more time consuming. Say it's an hour call. And then you listen 2 times speed, that's 30 minutes. And then maybe another 10 minutes of just like pausing and listening. That's like, it's time consuming. When you're ramping a rep up at first, you want to do that. Or if you're kind of new to call reviews, you want to do that. But what's going to happen is the process, like once you start getting good at call reviews and you got someone who they've already gone through a couple calls, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a speed call review. We're going to be able to kind of get done in about under 20 minutes on a call, maybe 15 minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to listen at 2 times speed. Then I'm going to listen to the first 10 minutes, which basically listen for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to kind of skim through the sections of the call that I know are important, goal, cost, problem, and just kind of see if they got the main points. And then the pitch, just maybe skim through a couple pieces on the pitch. Are they getting agreement on the pitch? Maybe skim some stuff on the closing stack, or are they tying down? And then I'm going to listen to the last 10 minutes because that's going to tell me, right? That's going to tell me what they did well and why the deal didn't close. goes. I don't have to listen to the whole freaking thing. I could literally have a whole call reviewed. I could have a 1 hour call reviewed in like 15, 20 minutes. At first, it's going to take you longer. That's okay. But that's how you want to think about it. After you practice doing enough speed call reviews, you're going to be able to start really quickly picking up on what's the one or two things the closer needs to improve on. All right, there we go. So let's go through each section and kind of how to think about each section and how to grade it. If you've gone through the 5-4 discovery training, this is all going to be in alignment, but this is kind of just like to give you understanding of what I'm looking for when I'm doing call reviews with closers. Cool. Leadership and boss tonality versus reacting. So that's our first thing right here. Leadership, boss tonality, and responding versus reacting. So this applies to the discovery portion of the call as well as the pitch, right? So you can see down here. So what I'm about to show you applies to both. Same with the active listening, bridge, and personalized section. So these next two sections are going to apply both to the discovery and to the pitch. So tonality, was tonality downward and certain? You know, I'm talking it's okay if you're kind of going up and down and around and stuff, as long as when you go to make your point that it's on the downward tonality. So when the closer's talking to the prospect, are they, you know, sounding certain, and are they ending on the downward, or are they going, yeah, we can definitely do that? Like, does it sound like they're almost asking a question where their tonality goes up at the end? That shows that they're uncertain, and that would be the boss versus the beggar. We do have a training on all of this stuff in more depth, but that's what I'm looking for there. Do they have good tonality where they sound confident and certain, not friendly, not like the buddy, not the beggar, but like, are they confident and certain? It doesn't mean are they mean, are they a jerk? It just means are they the leader on the call with tonality, as well as responding versus reacting. Leaders respond, followers react. So a boss or a leader is going to be, well, you know, was the closer calm? Were they slow to respond? Did they clarify questions? Like if the prospect's like, well, I mean, do you guys have a guarantee? It's like, were they like, well, I mean, we can guarantee this and then the other, or were they the boss and leader and they're like, oh, hey, yeah, we can definitely talk about that. Curious, you know, is there a reason why you're asking about that? Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotcha. Well, hey, you know, so were they more calm? Were their emotions, were they calm when the prospect was being mean or ups and downs? Was the closer being stable and calm? Like, right, were they the boss and the leader? Or were they reacting to every question the prospects in common said? And was the closer's emotions going up and down with the prospect, right? So this is the big thing: tonality and responding versus reacting. If they held perfect leadership 90% of the call, I'm going to give them a 5. You know, because you're going to have times where you break it. If you're 100%, that's awesome. But if you're doing at least 90%, I'm going to give you a 5 out of 5. I'm going to give you a 5 out of 5. If less than 90% of the time the closer held perfect leadership, I'm going to give it 2. So you did it, but only like less than 90. And if it's less than 50, I would consider that a 1. Like that's a partial. Like you were split on, they were the leader most of the time and you were the follower most of the time. And then 0 would just be the closer was not a leader whatsoever. They were just trying to be the friend the whole time, and the friend does not close deals. Okay, so that's leadership, right? So the leadership, how we're going to grade leadership here, 1 through 5. And you can see over here, the coach review doesn't have a final number, because sometimes, like, for instance, if I'm coaching somebody, I might do a speed review and I kind of listen and I'm like, okay, 2 here, I'm listening through, 1 here. Okay, oh, this was awesome. You got a 5 there. You're doing really good with that. You know, and I might not have a final grade that I'm looking for, but I want to find the main areas. But if you're doing a full call review, you definitely want to use this side, because it's going to give you it's going to give you a grade over here for how well you did. But okay, you see percentage. All right, cool. Let's go to active listening, bridge, and personalize. Did you active listen, bridge, and personalize? So this applies to the discovery portion of the call as well as the pitch. Active listening. So did it feel like the closer was truly listening to the prospect and body language and vocal cues? Interesting, yeah. And the responses, or did it feel mechanical? Did it feel like the closer was just asking questions? They were just running a script, but they weren't really listening. They didn't really care. Body language, their vocal cues, their responses, they didn't really feel like they were actively listening to the prospect. Okay, bridging something cool. So let's say I'm going to pull this up, just give you an example. We have a training on this. So I'm not going to go into this. Let's just say bridging. Does it feel like each question that the closer asked was based on what the prospect just told them before? You know, if the prospect's like, yeah, it's been a problem for 2 years, a good bridge would be like, wow, 2 years, that's a long time. I guess if it's been going on for 2 years, why all of a sudden now, right? So that'd be a good bridge. Wow, 2 years, that's a long time. Well, if it's been going on for 2 years, why all of a sudden now? Versus a bad going from like how long to a why now question. If it's like, how has it been going on 2 years? And why now? You see, they didn't really bridge it from one thing to the next. It just felt like I was running from one piece of my script to the next. But if I'm like 2 years, wow, that's a long time. I mean, I guess if it's been going on for 2 years, why all of a sudden like now? You see how I want each part of my script to feel like it's connected to what they just told me. So is the closer making it feel like their questions are based off what the prospect just told them, or does it feel like the closer is just running a script going from question to question? All right, cool. And then personalization. This is all kind of just quick reminder. If you want access to any of the resources that you see me going over in this video, the scripts, the diagrams, any of that stuff, literally I'm giving out the entire course, all the scripts, everything for free. So go down to the description to get access to all of the resources. Now, here's the one ask that I do have for you. If you're getting value from this course, from this video, the only thing that I'll ever ask you for is that you share it with somebody else that you feel like could level up their skills as a closer by having these tools and the resources. It could be another high ticket closer. It could be an entrepreneur selling their own services. It could be a sales manager managing a team of remote closers. Whoever it would be, if you're getting value from these trainings and from this course, the only thing I ask is that you just share it. Let's jump back into the training. I would call all of this like active listening and engaging, but I broke it down into listening, bridging, and personalization to really help you understand what I mean by this. So good would be the closer use phrases like, hey, you know how you were saying before? And hey, you know how you mentioned? And hey, I know you were saying that speed to result was important for you. Do you see how the speed we do this with, would be good for you? How so, right? Oh, and you know how you tried Sales Navigator before, but it didn't really work? You see I'm personalizing it. This could be the pitch where I'm like, hey, you tried Sales Navigator? Yeah, so the problem with that is, XYZ. That's why with pillar 1, what we do is blank. You see, I'm like personalizing what I'm saying. I'm not just running generic. Personalization is especially important in pitch and objection handles because this pitch needs to feel like it's a solution to their problem, not just a good but generic solution. Now, bad would be the closer doesn't use any personalization. The insights provided by the provided by the closer, the pitch from the closer, the questions from the closer do not feel personalized to the client at all. It just might as well just be like watching a pitch on a recording, right? Personalization makes it feel like you are personalizing your questions, your pitch, your offer, everything to them. All right, so rating would be 5. The closer listened, they did bridging, 90% of the time, and use personalization as much as appropriate, because you're not going to personalize it as much as you're going to bridge and active listen. But you are going to personalize where appropriate, and ultimately, was it connecting with the prospect? That would be a 5. Now, a 2 would be like the closer was attempting to do all those things, and I'm going to be like, great job. I'm going to tell the closer, great job, but it wasn't connecting with the prospect. And I'm going to be like, the reason why that wasn't connecting is because they were telling you X, and then you were missing that they kept bringing that up. So make sure you're listening for those, so that would be it. Number 2 would be is they're doing the things, but it's not connecting. 1 would be they're only partially doing it, and 0 would be they're not doing listening, bridging, or personalizing at all. Okay, problem probe label. Now this can be in the problem now discovery script. The problem is what is the problem with X right now. So what's the problem with lead generation right now? Where now the problem is the problem with where they are right now. And again, this is all in the 5-4 training scripts. I'm just giving you kind of an overview to think about how to do it now. Problem now, problem was the true problem found? Good would be problem now is like, hey, my lead generation is very inconsistent. Oh, wow. Right? Where now would be, I freaking hate my job. Those are good problems that I found for right now. Like right now, not, a bad would be, I tried something a year ago and it didn't work. Well, that's not right now, right? Right now. You're always looking for the win. You're always looking for the right freaking now. Okay. Cool. Bad would be problem. Now would be I just want more leads. That's not a problem. And then the closer doesn't probe into the true problem, right? They're like, okay, you want more leads? Tell me more about that. It's like, more leads? What's going on there? You don't have enough leads? Huh? How long has that been? You see, but a bad would just be like, the only thing you get is that they want more leads, or like if it's aware now, like, oh, everything's fine. They just wanted to see what you guys do, and the closer didn't get the reason for wanting to change. Okay, probe. So that was identifying the problem. Probe would be, did the closer use simple probing to probe into the real problem, and did they ask at least one impact question? So let's walk through this. Good would be simple probing using the real problem. Simple probing, on the script, is going to be stuff like, did you just say inconsistent? Yeah, this, that, and the other. What's going on there? Oh, wow. How long has that been going on? Impact question. What kind of impact is that having? And you see, it's very like simple, no leading questions here, just very curiosity based. Bad is closer probes into the wrong problem, or probes into logistical questions like, what are you trying to fix problem? That's not probing into the problem. That's probing into the solution they've tried, right? And that's the wrong probe into this right now. So I don't want to probe into things like that. I want to probe, what impact is it having? How long has that problem been going on for? Wow, did you just say that you haven't had a quality meeting in 2 months? That's what I want to probe into. This is the problem and what the problem is causing. Not like, what have you tried to fix problem? Like, that's good, but for later, once I've identified what the real problem is. Or if a lot of times closers, especially amateurs, are going to use very assumptive questions like, wow, is that stressful? Like, let the prospect tell you it's stressful. Well, inconsistent, what's going on there? Oh, it's causing this up and down and it's stressful. Stressful? Yeah, So I want the prospect to tell me that. I don't want to do a leading question. Here's another bad leading question. Wow, your lead flow is inconsistent. Is quality really bad too? It's like, don't do leading questions. Just be curious. Make sure the closer is finding the real problem, being curious and probing into it with simple probing. Okay. And then label, for problem probe label. Did the closer use the prospect's word to label the problem, or did the closer use their own words to paraphrase the problem, or even worse, did they label the goal versus the problem? So let's walk through this. Good would be the closer uses the prospect's language and says, hey, so what I'm hearing you say is your main problem is lead flow. It's been feast or famine for the last 2 years, and because of that, you can't hire an admin, so you've been stuck working in your business versus on your business. Did I miss anything? And the prospect says, nope, that covers it. That's a really good label. Bad would be the closer uses their own words, not the prospect. So say like the prospect says feast or famine, and then I say up and down. So your client growth has been up and down. Like, no, the prospect said feast or famine, so let me use his language, right? Closer could also, a really bad thing I see amateurs do all the time is they label like positive things. Oh, so what I'm hearing you say is that your leads are inconsistent, but you're trying social, and that seems to be going pretty good. And your goal is to get to 50K a month so you can travel with your family, right? It's like, that's not the problem. I'm here to like label the problem. So making sure that you got a really good problem identified, that your closer is probing it properly to get the full context of the problem, and then your closer is labeling the problem in the prospect's words and getting agreement. Cool. Rating 5 would be clear problem. The closer knows full context and impact of problem, and they got the prospect to agree to a clear problem focused label. Okay, 2 is the closer ran the script process, but they didn't connect. Like, they ran the script, like, good job, buddy, nice try, but it didn't really connect with the prospect, or you didn't get to the real problem. And then number 1 would be closer ran the process partially. 0 would be closer did not run process at all. Like, they're just like, what's your problem? And they didn't run any of the probing or anything. Okay, cool. Goal and cost, pretty straightforward. Goal, did the closer get a goal and get the prospect to indicate who the prospect wants to become? So let's look at this. Closer gets the prospect to say they want to grow their business to 500K a year. So what? So that they can have a business that allows a prospect to leave their corporate job, retire their wife, travel the family. This is what I'm really looking for, is that the closer knows the person the prospect wants to become as an entrepreneur, as a husband and father. Who this prospect wants to become, that's what I really want to understand. Bad would be the entrepreneur has gotten the prospect to say that they want to build their business to 500K a year, but the closer didn't get to know why that's important to them. It did not figure out who the prospect wants to become, right? Because if I'm objection handling and he's like, yeah, I want to be the kind of entrepreneur that's doing 500K a year because I want to retire my wife. I want to be able to travel and be the husband and the father that I know I can be. I can hold him accountable to that person he told me he wanted to become. But if I don't know who that person is, it's hard to hold them accountable in the objection handles. So that goal is like a number and then really who the person wants to become. Those two things. Okay, cost. Did the closer get the prospect to say the bad thing that's going to happen if they don't fix the problem now? Or if it is clear, if there's a clear cost not to fix the problem, like if there's a clear bad thing that happens if they don't fix the problem, that's going to create urgency during objection handle. And you can review the discovery and go in a cost section to see how this works. Now, good to be the prospect has told the closer what bad things will happen if they don't fix this right now or like 3 months, 6 months, a year from now. There's a bad thing that happens if we don't fix this right now. Bad would be the prospect has not told the closer that a bad thing will happen if they don't fix this. Say, oh no, it'll be fine. And the closer doesn't dig into that, right? Okay, so you can go to the goal and cost section of discovery training to get more details. In fact, you can go through those trainings to get more details on each section. All right, so rating on this, 5, closer got the prospect to tell them the full goal and the bad things that happen if they don't fix the problem. 2, the closer ran, 2 would be the closer ran the script, but didn't get the prospect to give a clear goal or cost. Say goal or cost, and then 1, closer did partial process, 0, closer didn't do process. Avoid landmines. These are things that can easily be talked about and handled during discovery, but become really hard to deal with during objection handling. So, and again, if we go to our discovery, let's just go to a problem now. You can see all this stuff is handled in the discovery. So all this stuff is like literally if your closer just does the script, we'll handle all this. So you could let's just walk through here. So this is going to be like, for an example, who else? Who else is part of the script, right? So who else? Where is it? Goal, cost, who else? Oh, what's your goal? Well, okay, what's the cost? Well, how does your partner feel about this? Who else is like partner, spouse, right? And it tells them how to handle every freaking scenario. Okay, so who else? I want to just make sure I'm avoiding partner, spouse problems. Like I can handle, it's easier to talk about this in discovery than it is after prices on the table. Same with time. Do they have time to do this week to week? And then, or do they have a trip coming up that I want to avoid? That can be handled in discovery if they follow the process. Transitioning, timing, right? Are they going on a vacation? No. Okay, cool. And then do attempts. What else have they tried before? Because I don't want my pitch to sound like the thing they tried before, because this is going to avoid right? What are we trying to avoid? Objections. Who else? I have to talk to my wife. Time. I don't have time for this. Attempts. This sounds like what I've tried before. Considerations. I have more calls, so I can't send them today because I'm talking to 2 more companies tomorrow. A trust, right? Hey, I just met you, so I need to do my research. Like all these things can be handled in the discovery. So did your closer pre-handle and avoid the landmines? 5 would be closer avoided all landmines. Like the closer removed all landmines. I would say avoided / removed, right? 2, closer ran the script but left some landmines that can blow up during objection handle. This happens a lot. And 1, closer only ran the process partially, meaning they skipped some important landmine questions. And then 0, they didn't run the process at all. They didn't use the script at all. Okay. Agreements on pitch pillars. Call this pitch pillars. Did the closer, and that's where